Yes, because what is happening to us is truly the miracle that most of us are praying for, right? Like we are asking to be delivered, we're asking for growth, we're asking to be saved so many times. And the things that are happening to us and around us are the miracles.
Welcome to the Serve, Love, Lift podcast. I'm Tiffany Garvin. Years ago on a quiet beach in Hawaii, I felt the weight of the pain and struggles we all face in this world and how much we need each other. Soon after, this movement was born to serve, love, and lift. I believe that we are meant to serve the world with our unique gifts, love ourselves and others, and lift each other up to live with joy. This podcast is here to help you heal your heart and your life and empower you on your path to becoming the best version of yourself. I invite you to listen carefully and jot down notes that come to mind, whether they come from me or from your own heart. Then, share this episode with 3 people who you feel could use it today. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get going. We have a wonderful guest on today's episode. It's the lovely Jamie Danforth. She's a mother of 6, a dynamic and inspired mentor, and a successful entrepreneur with a heart of gold. Welcome, Jamie. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. My goodness, that's the sweetest thing ever. Seriously, I'm really excited to be here. I love today's topic and I love the message that you bring. So grateful to be here with you.
Wonderful. I love it. What really got me excited about having you on the show was when you were telling me about this project that you did with your daughter and her husband. Let's just jump right in because that
Awesome.
really fleshes out the serve, love, lift topic.
Awesome. I love it. So my daughter has been an amazing example to me. She, since graduating high school, she did 1 year of college and then jumped into a program. It's called the International Language Program. And she spent about a year abroad in different countries teaching English. And what I love, so she and her husband, Seth, once they got married, they actually were able to go together to Nicaragua and also to the Dominican Republic. And the DR was their last trip. They were there for a little over 4 months. And as part of that, every time they've gone somewhere, she's kind of delivered some extra value, brought extra awesome to the local people there. And this last trip was super fun because they decided they needed to do a park. The place that they were at in the Dominican Republic, the kids literally did not have a place to play basketball, to run, to anything. Like it's just, you walk out the doors and you're on the street, there aren't backyards. And so these cutie kids at school are just, they got ants in their pants, right? They were having a hard time sitting still and learning and all the things. And so I believe they were totally inspired to feel like they needed to add a playground there. And so they worked with the city, and the city actually donated the land and they started gathering funds. And I I knew, like, it just popped up in my head. doTERRA has this incredible program, Healing Hands. And I reached out and they were incredible. Like, they just made the whole process so easy for us. And so we raised the funds. They literally matched 100% what we raised. And so we were able, yeah, it was awesome. We were able to come together with about $15,000 for this park. And it's just the most incredible space, close to the school so the kids can run during a recess break, but it's also for the community. So it was set up in such a way that people can go, families can go play, they can go use it. So I'm really grateful for my daughter and her example, and her husband. Like, they they for reals, like, taught me what it looks like to, because they loved these people, loved the kids, and saw an issue, saw something that they needed some backup with. And we were able to work together to really create a beautiful park. So one of the things that doTERRA offers, in addition to matching the funds, are their humanitarian, their hygiene kits. so these cutie kids, like, again, are super limited on their resources and the things that they have. And so when I went out there to meet with my daughter and her husband and to help bring some of this stuff together, I took a ton of hygiene kits out, like these gigantic suitcases that we packed full. And I might have had a garbage bag, like a big, huge black garbage bag running through the airport because we were trying to get as many in there as we could. And it was a very emotional experience for me because, yep, here I go. It was just this sweet little humble gratitude from these cute kids. Like, they kept saying, "This is for me. Like, this is all for me," and they couldn't believe it. And I had taken, the little 1 penny plastic frogs that you push and they hop, and those kids were over the moon. They just couldn't believe that that was for them. And so it was just a beautiful experience to see what a lot of people, and the hygiene kids, by the way, are donated by doTERRA members. So it was something that it was not additional funds that we had to come up with. It was just something that was donated. And the healing hands process was brilliant. Actually, my daughter took care of almost all of that. It was online. They were really fast and quick to get that taken care of. She was like, "Mom, I can't believe this. This is amazing." And because they had a ton of logistics with the city side of things and getting the park approved, getting contractors in place, like all the things. And so she was just saying what a big deal it was, that the process was pretty seamless and smooth. So it was just, I'm very grateful I got to be part of something that had such a huge impact, and to get to see sweet little people who really, like, the amount of resources and things that they have is something that it's hard for us to imagine, I think, over here. And it just was mind blowing to me. Like, it taught me gratitude in on a much bigger scale. So it's beautiful to be part of. Yeah.
Love that. That is amazing. So what inspired you to be so heart-centered? I mean, is that just how you came out of the womb? Is that just who you are? Or was there some experience throughout your life that really led you to nurture that part of you and to lean into that side?
That's a really good question, because it's been a journey for me, honestly. Like, just life experiences taught me to be pretty, um, I've been very on point, very responsible, very, like, get things done, make things happen. I always felt a calling in my heart to share that the world is good and that every one of us is here to experience joy and expansion and connection. I always knew that, but I've spent a lot of my life in a space of, but how do I survive? And so it's been, I would say my kids honestly have been one of my greatest teachers. Like, as I've watched them go live life, wow, sorry, Tiff, you're getting all the tears today.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
It's as I've watched my kids go live their lives, because they have good hearts and they feel called to really good things. I've learned a lot, and also just my own personal life journey. I kind of hit a point where I needed to do my own self work, and I had to shift to a space where I needed to learn to listen to my heart and my soul a lot more. And that's where I discovered I love community. I love connection with people, and this really powerful belief that we can do amazing things when we're working together. And so I have a huge passion to help all of us stop surviving, right? I feel like so much of the world, we are just trying to get by. People, we're all trying to keep our heads above water. And that elusive joy and, like, fulfillment, it feels so unattainable sometimes. And I've discovered that those things do not come from our circumstances. It's actually switched. Like, as we start to feel those and have a hope for joy and vibrancy and fulfillment, our circumstances actually change. So it's been a huge blessing for me to start looking out and to start loving my people even more deeply and more genuinely as I've done my own work. So that's a long, not fast, easy answer. But no, I think my heart came that way. I think my soul loves that, but my brain didn't catch up until recently. So yeah.
And that was life. It was the hard stuff, right? That honed
Yep.
that natural instinct into finally
Yep.
manifesting and what a testament to it's okay that we struggle, right? It's okay that we go through hard things. In fact, we have to.
Do.
Did you say that?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not pretty. I'll say that too.
Oh,
I have a beautiful sister who's been an awesome mentor for me. She's had her own struggles and is an amazing warrior. Like she's battled like addictions and things like that. And she told me when I was kind of starting this whole process, which happened because I broke. Like I really did hit a place of I just couldn't dig myself out anymore. And she was telling me how these changes and this growth, it's like the process of a caterpillar emerging from a cocoon and changing, becoming a butterfly. And there's actually a beautiful poem written about this. Wish I had memorized. I don't. But the idea is it is sticky, messy, dark, as we take the challenge to emerge. But that if one way is life and one way is death, if a butterfly stops fighting and does not fully emerge from the cocoon, it doesn't make it. But butterflies who are resilient and strong and beautiful and so inspiring, if they keep fighting and make their way out of that messy, dark cocoon, they hit their full measure, right? Where they can inspire and lift. But I do love this idea that we have to focus on ourselves first before we can inspire and lift. And at that point, it becomes natural. It doesn't have to become our mission. It's not what we are always focusing on. How do I say the right thing or do the right thing? But it's simply our lights get brighter as we fight and move forward and embrace our fullness, right? So it's just so beautiful and natural. And I know I love seeing that wake up in other people. I love it when this switch flips and we start to embrace our vibrancy and our full measure instead of just our survival mechanism.
oh, that's so perfect. So who inspires you? You've got to have seen this example in somebody else. Who is that? Maybe besides your older sister, or is that who it is?
A lot. I feel super blessed along the way. I've been inspired by everyone, including the not easy people. I
Oh,
mean, we all
wow.
people that are really easy to love and they're really
Yeah.
easy to snuggle, and to want to be close to. But a lot of my growth has come from people who were hurt hardy for me, because it helped me to hear the hurt, that okay, here we go, deep breath. The hurt that I buried forever, like I just didn't have time for that. It was just I needed to keep moving. I needed to keep like just making stuff happen and take care of everybody. And so it's been, I would say I've been blessed. Like I truly believe God put all the right people in my path, even the ones that felt hard, for a minute, because they were my best personal trainers, right? Like they're the ones that made me really have to dig deep and learn and listen to. Like one of my things that I love teaching people is paying attention to our emotions. I believe that our emotions are our personal GPS system. So if we can really pay attention in the moment, I'm feeling this. Why am I feeling that? Instead of don't feel that. Oh my gosh, don't be mad. Like that would be terrible. Don't be sad. Oh no. But why do I feel sad right now? Why am I kind of feeling a little frustrated right now? And typically it's our spirit, letting us know we're out of alignment somewhere. There's something that's a little bit off that is pulling us away from our power, right?
Yes.
So we are really and it takes a lot of courage to pay attention to emotions because they are messy sometimes and they also can just throw us and get us off of our nice comfortable clean path that we can see. But I am just here to say and to really testify that the beauty and the power and the miracles are off of the path that we have always seen in front of us. So it's just I really believe that God directs us to expansion. Like he leads us to places that allow us to really become like our best measure. So
Wow. And then the trust that it requires in us to not fight against it so much, right?
yeah,
'Cause I think it
scary.
the natural instinct to fight against pain, to fight against hard things and try to push it away or get past it as quickly as possible when what you're saying is so true and so right, but it requires a deep sense of trust that you will get through, and that there will be that
Yeah.
necessary growth at the end of it, that you will be in a better place at the end of it, that it won't hurt so bad at some point. Where did you develop that kind of faith and trust?
I think that's a work in progress. I'm still, it's
Sure.
still part of my personal work that I'm doing. It is difficult for me to let go like that. Like I think it is for most of us, for sure. And a lot of that came, like I said, I hit a bottom. I don't feel like I really had an option,
Yeah.
but learn how to let go and let God truly. And so but some of the things that I do to help keep myself on that path is for sure journaling. Like I've been told by so many mentors, so many brilliant people that I do look up to and learn a lot from, that journaling is important. And I've discovered this, like as I write down my conversations I have with people, or experiences that I've had, I write that down in my journal and I go back later and I reread and I underline the things that stand out to me. And those are the things that I spend time on when I'm meditating, when I'm taking my personal quiet moments, because I found that most of the nuggets that truly lead us on this clear path is they're buried sometimes, like because our brains are wired to keep us where we are, right? And so a lot of those truths that we can feel in our soul and in our heart, they are by design of our brains, they are pushed down so that they don't come to our awareness very easily. So I just am here to say it takes work. It's not like, oh, I'm going to just choose to do whatever, God says. Like, I'm just going to move forward and have this amazing path. I've discovered it's not like that. Like, it really does take consistent effort. It's worth it. Like, it's so worth it to be able to live true to yourself. But it takes practice, it takes setting aside time for yourself. I don't think we can shortcut that process.
Right.
And time is hard, right? Time is so tricky, and there's the voices in our head that are like, you're too busy, you've got to take care of this person, this person, this person. You don't have time to write in your journal today. You don't have time to connect with that person that lifts your heart. So it's those choices that we have to practice making on a regular basis.
I love it. And really leaning into the choices part, right? It's
Yep.
choosing that path, even if the path doesn't turn out exactly like you
Mhm.
see it and want it to happen. It's still that choice. It's choosing to move forward. It's choosing to keep going even when it's so hard. It's choosing to practice. It's choosing to dismiss those negative thoughts. It's so much about our agency and us taking hold of the reins of our lives and choosing into growth, choosing into I'm going to ride this to the end. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to choose better, even if it's hard and even if it's just that little bit each day. I love that, like you're saying, that it comes down to that and recognizing the power that we do have to direct our lives. Even if it feels like it's chaotic, we still have the choice to respond in a way that will get us closer to where we want to go and stay in alignment with who we are.
Yep, absolutely. And coming up with kind of your own personal mantra along the lines of, um, like, okay, God wants me to have even more than what I can picture for myself, right? And everything that is happening is for my good, for where I am right now. So whatever the situation is that you're in the middle of right now, it is the perfect place for you to be, because it will inspire, it'll wake up, it will cause you to dig deeper, to be able to expand and to grow. And so just developing that trust. And I do have things I tell myself all the time, because sometimes it's like, really? Like, I'm still here and this is happening and oh my goodness. And so taking that time to start to retrain and see our struggles as blessings. Okay, so one of the things that I has been hard for me, we talked about it a second ago, but I wanted to kind of sit with it for a second to really let it resonate, is that what I believe really makes the difference, and I'm still learning this, but being able to lean into the faith that God wants even more for me than I want for myself. And not only that, he knows who I am outside of my personal beliefs about myself, right? So I kind of have my own personal beliefs that tell me I can do this much, or I can feel this much or enjoy this much. And God's like, oh, no, like you're like, there's no limit, right? And so being able to come up with your own personal mantra that to the effect that everything that you are in right now is for your highest best good. Like you might not like the timing, you might not like the circumstances, but it is what is needed for your next step. So it's God preparing you for the next step into the person you are. And so finding a way, having kind of that mantra that cycles through your head, that God is bringing all the best things into your realm, right, into your alignment, is beautiful to know that you're being watched over and guided and directed by a higher power, delivered truly. So
Yes, I love that. All of that belief that we have is in ourselves so much less than what he knows we're capable
yeah,
of. I love that. And so it's probably with that perspective then that he does allow us to have these
yep,
challenges and these hard things, because he knows that they will nurture out of us
yep,
that stronger being, that brighter space, that bigger vision for our lives than we,
love that. Like
right?
truly break through the mold, huh? But it's scary to break your mold because
Totally.
what you've been told is safe, and it's
Yeah.
okay for you to be there, right? Like it's in this is an okay place for you to be. And so breaking through that, I love how you use the word nurturing, because God does nurture. This image just popped in my mind of a seed emerging from the ground, right? The seed doesn't have to be like, I think I can, like bust through this, like, but the seed just has to be like, choose to be, and God nourishes the growth. Like he nourishes that emerging, right?
I
So
love,
we can truly find peace in our journey. Like just learn to be so that God can nurture us into emerging. So
wow. Okay, I
yeah.
love that. Is so, so yummy. There are times when we do need to kind of self-talk and encourage ourselves, but
Mhm.
I love that visual of, no, if you really just let go and you surrender and you say, I'm exactly where I need to be, I'm just going to be, I'm going to
Yeah.
be me, I'm going to do the thing. And the Lord does the rest. He creates that environment, those nutrients and the challenges and whatever it is that helps that beautiful little plant grow and become what it's not doing something extraordinary. It's just being itself. Oh my goodness, I
It's
love.
incredible. And I think even being able to learn to watch our journeys with awe, right? The miracle of a plant emerging and growing and becoming is so incredible. We're like a million times that, right? Like on so many different levels. And so being able to find a way, and maybe this is where journaling is beautiful, is it can help us step back and watch with awe our journey, like these discoveries and awarenesses that come, and watch our growth in our struggles.
Wow.
So like really truly recognizing that it is in our struggles that we become, that we grow. So it's not like a bystander experience. It's like we're in there, and it's this process that, like we talked about earlier, it's messy, and it's okay. Like it's okay to be messy, and truly this was a really hard thing for me, because part of my, like, I'm okay was I'm on top of stuff, I get things done, all the whatevers. And so one of my biggest learnings is being able to be a mess in front of my people, not always polished or saying the right things or whatever, but to be vulnerable. Brene Brown actually has so many beautiful things about this. Like she talks about how our vulnerability really is is what determines our connection to other people. And so if we always have to be in a box of perfect or a box of good enough or whatever that looks like for each of us, we miss this opportunity to connect and to be lifted by our people, and also to feel loved. Like, we can't love ourselves or believe that others love us if we're so wrapped up in trying to look good enough or be good enough. And so being able to truly come and find love for ourselves is, I believe, one of the hardest journeys that any of us can undertake, but it's also one of the most rewarding, and I still, that's something I still am journeying through. And I'm grateful for good people that I've been able to be vulnerable with that have really reinforced that love, made it easier for me to feel love for myself. But ultimately, we are responsible for that, right? Like asking God to show us who we are, to let us see our beauty and our amazingness. So,
You are amazing. You really are. That's so perfect. I love
who are
everything.
you?
Oh my goodness. This is perfect. And so
Uh,
maybe that is one of the things, like our common friend, our sweet friend Jen, who has
yeah,
posed that and said, when you're struggling, when you're in that space, when you're in the middle of ask the question, how is this perfect? It lets you get into a mindset of receiving helpful information, right? It's setting your reticular activator to a different thing, right? Other than, okay, all of these things are attacking me and that's all I'm seeing, versus, okay, how is this perfect? What is going to show up for me? What is showing up for me? How am I showing up that I haven't been able to before? And a
yeah,
myriad of beautiful things that can help us recognize the perfectness of it, the truth of
yeah.
it, the trust in it, our power that we, like you say,
Mm,
in journaling, you can recognize when you ask those questions honestly, instead of what the world says is, well, why me? Why,
mhm.
why is this happening to me? Instead of going there
Yep.
with an honest, curious, genuine question, why is this for me? How is this perfect?
Yes, because what is happening to us is truly the miracle that most of us are praying for, right? Like, we are asking to be delivered, we're asking for growth, we're asking to be saved so many times, and the things that are happening to us and around us are the miracles. Like, if we can truly step out into this space of awe and awareness, right? Instead of survival, instead of like, oh my gosh, now I got to take care of that. Now I got to figure that out. Now I've got to, like, oh, what is the perfect in this for me? I love that. That's so beautiful.
Oh, I love this. So, what one message, as we wrap up this yummy conversation, which I really don't want to end, but what one message, if you could speak it to the world, would you want to share?
Wow. Okay. I just had 10 thoughts come to my head.
You can share more than one.
Okay. My first one is find your love for yourself. Like, do your work to be able to love and choose yourself. The second thing is live vibrantly now. Like, don't wait to be a tree. Don't wait until you think you look deserving or worthy or perfect enough to have a vibrant life. Choose it now. Choose to feel joy and to feel light. And I promise your circumstances, they will align, like they will begin to match what you're feeling inside. And then the last one is pay attention to your emotions, like really truly honor what you are feeling, even if you're like, "Ooh, but it's bad." Like, I feel grumpy at that person or whatever. There's a reason. Your spirit is letting you know that there's an offness somewhere, a boundary, or a something that needs tweaked, right? So um our emotions were given to us as a gift and as a compass, and so take time to honor and reflect what comes up for you. So, but ultimately, life is good, and there, with our community, our people, like, we can help each other be on a joyful path today. We don't have to have things be perfect first. Like, we can truly be joyful and vibrant today. So that's what I love to share, and I know that it's out there for each of us.
Thank you for being with me. Remember to share this episode with 3 people who you feel could use it today. Don't want to wait for next week for new insights and wisdom? Go to www.tiffanygarvin.com/emotional healing for a free guide to help you begin healing the emotional wounds that are holding you back. Again, the link is tiffanygarvin.com/emotional healing. It will be in the show notes as well. I believe in you. See you next week.